Show all Maxey all the time, as it should be when you have a career night of 54 points. And we welcome you here to Sixers postgame live, brought to you by Auto Insurance, Amy Fadul and Mark Jackson. And we are firmly in the Tyrese Maxey MVP camp. If there needs to have the parade for it, we're going to go ahead and start that parade. But what a night for Tyrese Maxey. He had 48 points in regulation and then added a bunch more in overtime to seal the win for the Sixers on the second night of a back-to-back. And you heard him with Kate Scott. He's like, I can play two more. What are you talking about? The man leads the league in minutes played. He's one of the highest scoring players. What can't he do, Mark?
Hey, listen, let me tell you what he can't do, be slowed down, Amy. Let me tell you, this Tyrese Maxey has an ungodly amount of energy that seems to be unmatched. And the way he plays like he's in a marathon. Like he just can keep going. And then after every game, when you see him talking, he seems like he can still go. He's barely sweating. He's playing this great. Look at this, 54-9, 54-9. Like, come on now. That's not a score. That's a basketball player. Right?
And listen, look at this. 18 of 30, that's 60%, 6-0 from the field, 40% from three. So this is not just I'm taking, 75 shots and I'm getting 54 points. It was efficient, 46 minutes of work, 3 steals, 3 blocks. Wow. He is our Colonial Nissan game changer. And when you put up 54 with those kind of numbers, shooting 60% from the field, you're going to change the game. Tyrese Maxey, he was talking with you and with Kate and with Ala, and he said, listen, Paul George kind of set the tone. Yep. But Tyrese Maxey answered it as well.
Absolutely. The best thing, he let Paul get going. He didn't take a shot that time. He said, you go ahead and do you. And he kept feeding and finding him because when you are a bona fide scorer, you're always going to find ways to get a bucket.
And this is a guy who can take games over. He makes shots all the time that look so like that. That shot is impossible, and he makes it look like it's so easy with these circus shots.
And the best part is, every time he got a buck, he was looking at Doc, like, remember me?
That's what Mark and I were talking before he came on. I was like, there is some kind of sweet poetic justice, the fact that there's a coach on the other side that did not play him, basically, in his rookie year. Did he see that Tyrese Maxey, and we were having this conversation upstairs in our newsroom, that right now he's a top 10 player in the league.
Yeah, he really is, Amy. His ability. Look at him staring. Look at him staring. His ability.
There's a lot of former Sixers guys too there.
From getting past people or shooting a long three and mid-range. He's just a tough cover for anyone in this league.
Yeah, Doc has a couple of former Sixers coaches from his time here, so I'm sure he's looking over at those guys as well. But listen, I like it. And then free throws. He had to make 2 free throws at the end of this game in order to send it to overtime. I know it's old hat for him because he's a good shooter. He's a good free throw shooter. But how clutch is that?
That's big time. But you know what, Amy? When you got such a guy on your roster that has been working towards greatness for this long and every year seeming constant improvement, you expect nothing less. Now, he did miss 2 free throws. I don't mean to pull, I gotta call. I'm a coach in mind. So gotta be 100% free throw line.
We talked about how we're leading the parade for him to get the MVP
Absolutely.
and be in the conversation anyway right now. And when you drop 54, I think other people are going to take notice. But there was, as you notice, they were wearing this throwback 2001 jerseys. That was an MVP that year, and the name of Allen Iverson. So we're going to check out how he's matching up right now with MVP Iverson. So you can see that's the 2000-2001, where they are points-wise, assists-wise. Well, they don't have his number of shots they were taking. Mark can probably tell us a little more about what AI was doing there. 3-point field goals, I don't take that as big into a consideration because the 3-point game was not like it is now. So that was those were pretty good numbers right there. And defensively, obviously, we all know what AI was able to do. But these are really, really good numbers. 47%, 42% from 3, high volume for Tyrese Maxey on all of those. And then, of course, almost 8 assists a game. That would be a career high. No surprise for Maxey.
Absolutely. Maxey's doing his thing. He's not just scoring, but he's helping others score the ball with ease. And you want to see that from a superstar guy. It's a lot of conversation going on other teams, the guys that mega scorers, but they're not scoring at a high clip with a high percentage as well as facilitating for others.
Yeah, people are saying there's not a superstar in this game because Giannis, I beg to differ. There was one near number 0, and he put up 54 on the Bucks in the win. Let's check out now what Nick Nurse had to say after this one.
I thought the body language and everything was really good this afternoon, maybe better than it's been on the road back-to-backs. And so the start was great, obviously. PG gives us a big lift. I think, that's so important, I think, to just raise everybody's level of energy up. And then we go through I just think it's shooting. slump, like, pretty heavy ones. I mean, really hard not to take those wide open threes for those guys, right? And we didn't hit them for a stretch, so the game kind of, went up and down a little bit. But obviously we hung in there, got it to overtime, and then kind of played the overtime like we started the game.
Yesterday, after the game, I guess, they asked you about Tyrese, and you said he didn't shoot the ball enough. And he had 14 shots, but he only had one shot in the fourth quarter. And he stayed aggressive, which led to them having a career-high night. In the fourth quarter in overtime, I believe he scored 22 points. 16 was in the fourth. And, you always told him, you got to do it. You got to attack. You got to attack. And he did that in 54 points tonight.
Yeah, certainly a big difference. And again, it's a variety again that I keep thinking that, obviously it's a great amount of threes, right? Because he's such a good shooter. Few drives all the way, few floaters. Playing on top, playing along the baseline, just moving him around and trying to not make it too predictable. But he really did a good job. I thought it's a lot of minutes on a back-to-back for a guy who's playing a lot of minutes, and he was really guarding hard too. Like he was really putting an effort in at both ends. So a lot of that will to win came from him tonight.
What does it just say for his tenacity, energy level to play that many minutes in back-to-back? Plus, I don't believe he left the game after halftime.
I do not believe he did. We usually have a little discussion there to start the fourth, and he didn't want to have the discussion tonight. He wanted to stay in. We were fortunate. I know it's crazy when it's 46 minutes, but we did get a really long stretch of rest for him to start the second quarter. I think it was almost over 6 minutes, which is pretty rare. He doesn't usually, so he goes into the half with only 17. So that was maybe always on the table, yeah.
When you talked about PG, you said he had a really good start, but it also seemed like in the second half, when you guys got in the half court, he was a little bit of your stabilizer with the ball in his hand. And also his communication with the other guys, making sure a guy was in the right spot.
Yeah, my thing I always keep mentioning, I'm not sure, our defense is so good when he's out there. Right, I mean, our possessions are just so solid. He's really good at directing traffic. He's going to guard most of the guys one-on-one, either on the perimeter or on the block. He just really directs traffic for us. That's the biggest thing for me. I mean, listen, the 11-0 start is awesome because I think that energized us, but the rest of the game, it's mostly his defense for me. And again, I mean, I know that's pretty good, 21 points in 24 minutes. That's pretty productive, yeah.
Will you also talk about Justin Edwards? I mean, I think he had a pretty good defensive game.
Really good game. He did. In the first quarter. He did. He was really working hard. Again, you hear this as a broken record. He's going to try on every possession. He's going to make some plays on defense. He's a really good shooter. He had a bunch of opportunities and he couldn't throw one in tonight, but he made one when it counted.
Just going back to Tyrese for a minute, what have you thought of just his consistency? I mean, I think that's like 9 or 10 30-point games is 4 40-point games.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a unique kind of double threat, which is the speed, which will get him past people, and then the really deep shooting range. So there's a lot of space he's playing in there. And again, he's just really talented, and I think that his confidence continues to grow. His teammates' confidence in him continues to grow as well, that's a big game. But when he's scoring, it doesn't surprise me that much. Yeah.
There's a lot to take away from there. He's talking about the vibes this afternoon. Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, no surprise there. A little praise for Justin Edwards and how he stays ready. He did have that big three in there, but there's some crazy numbers that are going to be coming out of this, and we've got one for you. It is the first Maxey joins Wilt Chamberlain. It's the only two players. You ready? March 18th, 1968, Wilt did it. Oh. Tyrese Maxey did it tonight. Do you want to know what it is?
What?
50 points and 9 assists in Sixers history. Sixers history, there's two. Will Chamberlain, Tyrese Maxey. 50 points, 9 assists. That's incredible. It's the first win for the Sixers in Milwaukee since March of 2023. That's over 900 days. And it's not like they don't play there. They play there every year. So this is a remarkable game when you think about what they were coming off the back-to-back. They did not have Joel Embiid, no Kelly Oubre. They needed every bit of Tyrese Maxey's 46 minutes and 54 points. But there's a lot of 9 assists also. How do you manage that? Because you're still scoring, but you're sharing the ball, and that's a pretty good clip.
It has to be contagious. It's something you cannot stop. That's called sacrifice. You want to show true love for the game? It's sacrifice. It's not saying, I love it. No. Sacrificing for yourself and others is so important. If you have that in your team, then your team will go a long way, especially now. It's easy to say respectfully, we don't have no superstar talent. But when you have a bunch of superstar-type players and they all are willing to sacrifice, which means their numbers may drop, that means they spread that ball, pop a few more times, that's impossible to guard.
Can't guard Tyrese Maxey. Shot 60% to the tune of a career-high 54 points, joining Will Chamberlain as the only Sixers to ever have 50 and 9 assists. Woo! I love it. All right, clap your hands. It was a big one, the overtime win in Milwaukee. We're going to talk a little bit more about this. Check in on Paul George's night. And we got to talk more about that man, Tyrese Maxey, coming up here on Sixers Postgame Live, brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Here they come. If you were watching pregame, why wouldn't you be watching pregame live, Mark Jackson? Everybody watches pregame live. We told you about Ryan Rollins, a guy who came out of Toledo, undrafted. You weren't really maybe sure where he was or second round pick, where he would fit in. He's averaging over 17 points a game, but in the couple of games that they haven't had Giannis, he's been really, really on fire. And you saw that once again tonight, 32 points, 14 assists. And look at that shooting, 50% from the field and a couple of threes made. And Tyrese Maxey and those guys have talked about. Ryan Rollins was a very good player. They had their hands full with him. And he probably surprised a lot of people. I'm not for the Sixers because I'm sure he was on the scouting report, but it's tough when you see the star and Giannis is not over there and you don't really know much about the other guys, and a guy like that goes off for 32. And
not just that, almost wills you to victory.
Almost.
That kind of thing that puts you from being just a guy who's having a pretty good season to make those whole franchise think you're like, hold on now, we need to protect this guy. We need to do certain things. They put you in a whole nother category. So it's very important that you keep that consistently. But he's averaging over 17 points on the season. But when Giannis is out, he turns into Superman.
Yeah, and he's playing over 32 minutes on the season as well. So a pretty good numbers game for Ryan Rollins. But we got to check out on Jared McCain. Here's a guy when he first came back, struggled with the shot. He played a couple of games in the G League. So now he has 2 back-to-back games where his numbers are up. We saw the relief on his face the last game out when he finally hit that three-pointer. So he had a couple of threes tonight, just about 13 minutes of work. What did you see from McCain?
I seen confidence. And I seen quick to trigger, which means he was always ready to get his shot off. It was like, I might have been off, but I'm not stay off. Look at this. That's just quick right there. And listen, a make is a make. I don't care how it bounce. But that being said, I thought he came out. He was looking good. He looked better. Watch this. Look at this drive. Look at this. Left hand, off hand with the confidence, getting out lane, turn around, play full court defense. I like it.
You can see that nice passing around and relocated and buries that three-pointer. I think the most important thing you mentioned, the confidence. Here's a guy that obviously missed the game, did not want to miss any time. He was on pace to be the rookie of the year. The knee injury derailed him, and then he's coming back, and then the thumb issue derailed him. So to see him back out there and see the joy back on his face, I think is the most important part, because this guy loves to play the game, and you want him out there with Tyrese Maxey, with VJ Edgecombe, to feed off that energy.
Absolutely, Amy. And when he doesn't have that face, don't have that look, it kind of makes you start scratching as he loses his confidence.
Yeah.
But I believe him a couple of games in the G League did help him. If I don't mind him going back playing more. I think the more game rhythm he can get until he gets up to consistently 20, 21 minutes a game, I would love to see him play as many games to keep getting that game rhythm. But his confidence is starting to build. I think last game and this game is going to start building more.
Yeah, just seeing the ball go through the hoop, I think, is a really big thing for him. And then being able to contribute in a win like this, that's going to be a big momentum booster and morale booster for a guy, obviously like Justin Edwards, but also for Jared McCain because of that.
Absolutely. And then you look at his teammates looking oh, he's almost back.
Yeah.
He's not quite back, but he's getting there. But then when you start getting the vibes from your teammates, like they recognize that you're almost back to 100%. And once you get that, it's just nothing but builds momentum in you to hurry up and get back, not just where you were, but maybe progress better than that.
I mean, he's got 3 guards that are playing in front of him, obviously, in VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey, the starters, and the first guy off the bench, and Quentin Grimes, who plays starter-type minutes. So when you think about the numbers game, this is a guy who wants to get his legs, under him, everything going, but the numbers are going to be tough to come by. 20 minutes is what you're looking for. You wonder where they might come from?
Yeah, here's the facts. Maxey's leading the league in minutes per game. I don't like that. Maxey's not 6'8", 250. He's a slight frame, 6'1", 6'2", speed, lightning, quickness. I think we've seen tonight Maxey and McCain will play together some spurts. But I really think if McCain can get back, I think Maxey's numbers will drop, meaning minutes. But his efficiency will stay the same. His ability to score the ball will stay the same. I really need to see McCain get up to 20 minutes to maybe drop Maxey minutes down 5 to 6 per game, just for that, just to save him for the long run.
Yeah. It's something you want to see, and it's a good problem to have all these guards because it's something we've talked about on the pregame show. Like, let's just run it all back, right? Just guards, central guard, happy. One of the guards is Tyrese Maxey dropping 54. I'm moving all the guards.